Hello everyone. Today we embark on a culinary journey to one of Mexico's richest regions in terms of culture and flavors, Campeche. From its Mayan roots to the fusion of colonial and modern influences, Campeche's gastronomy is a diverse of its history. We will explore the gastronomy, the meaning behind its dishes, and of course, we will get to know in depth one of its most representative dishes, Pan de Cazón. Join us on this tour where history and food intertwine.
First, let's talk about gastronomy in general. Gastronomy is not just about cooking. It is a discipline that studies the relationship between humans and food within its cultural context. It is an art form that focuses on flavors, culinary techniques, the science of food, and also how these elements are integrated into our lives. In other words, when we talk about gastronomy, we are talking about something that encompasses everything from traditions and ingredients to the science behind the cuisine. Gastronomy also reflects how we are as a society. Every dish tells a story, and in the case of Mexican food, this story is deeply linked to its cultural diversity, influenced both by pre-Hispanic civilizations and by cultures that came later, such as the Spanish. Mexican gastronomy itself is a perfect example of its cultural exchange.
If there is one thing that distinguishes Mexican gastronomy, it is its richness and complexity. Each region of Mexico has its own culinary identity, and Campeche is no exception. As part of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity recognized by UNESCO. Mexican cuisine is not only an explosion of flavors, but a fusion of cultures that has been kept alive throughout the centuries. With every bite, you can feel the legacy of the Mayans, the Spanish influence, and the incorporation of ingredients from around the world. In Campeche, however, this fusion is expressed in a particularly unique way, as it is a region that, in addition to sharing Mayan traditions, has been marked by its maritime history, its connection to fishing, and of course, the influence of piracy in colonial times. All this mix gives an unrepeatable personality to its cuisine. Our heritage is intangible, which is why these concepts emanate from it. It is traditional, contemporary, and living at the same time. Science is not only includes traditions inherited from the past, but also contemporary rural and urban uses characteristics of diverse cultural groups. Integrative, it shares cultural expressions that are similar between one community and another, either because of their proximity to each other or because they come from an Antipodean city, perhaps because they have been adapted by peoples who have emigrated. Representative. It germinates in the communities and it is up to its members to transmit the knowledge, traditions, techniques, and customs to the rest of the community, from generation to generation or to other communities. Community-based. It is considered as such only if it's recognized as such by the communities, and those who generate, maintain, and transmit it.
Campeche, a port city with a rich colonial and Mayan heritage, is not only known for the beautiful Baroque structures, but also for the food. It is a gastronomy that reflects both the abundance of seafood and the influences that came through the centuries. Although sometimes confused with Yucatan cuisine, Campeche food has an identity all by its own. It's flavorless and robust, but can also be delicate, and that is what makes it so special. In Campeche, until a few yesterdays ago, even nowadays, and less frequently, a menu is followed in an almost religious and to a lesser degree civil manner. It is based on the cycles of life, derived from the agricultural and fishing moments. as well as from almost all the Catholic religious festivities, in particular with their prohibitions and permissions that generated the so classical menu of the Campeche week: Monday of beans with pork, Tuesday of chilmole, and others. Campeche cuisine has an extensive menu that includes seafood, meats, vegetables, for some something exotic, that are used in the preparation of many of the dishes. An example of which are the chaya leaves, whose use can be used in the elaboration of a cream, a delicious pineapple water, or simply to wrap some tasty tamales. One of the most representative dishes of Campeche is the pan de cazón. It is a perfect example of how the region's gastronomy has absorbed influences over the time. This dish reflects not only Mayan cuisine, but also the impact of Spanish colonization and the constant evolution of Campeche's cuisine. It was thanks to the varied vegetation and fauna of the Yucatan Peninsula, especially the area that corresponds to our state, which has a wide range of soils, the distribution of water and climate. This, together with the Mayan tradition and the culture, have given as a result a typical cuisine of its own. And by adding the quantity of ingredients that arrived after the conquest, as well as the influences brought by the cultures that introduced them, created a new gastronomic concept that is permanently renewed.
Now let's go into detail about pan de cazón. This dish is a delicious combination of corn tortillas, cazón, a type small of shark, tomato sauce, and epazote. It is a clear example of the gastronomic synthesis that occurred in Campeche over the centuries. But what makes it so special? Well, it has very deep roots in that combine elements of pre-Hispanic Mayan culture and Spanish influence. Let's take a closer look at these influences. The first major influence is the pre-Hispanic Mayan culture. The Mayans were experts fishermen and dogfish, abundant off the coast of Campeche, was one of the fish they used most in their cuisine. In addition, corn, which was the basis of their diet, also forms a fundamental part of this dish throughout the tortillas that accompany it. Undoubtedly, the use of local ingredients such as corn and dogfish is a direct legacy of Mayan civilization. The second influence comes from the Spaniards, who upon arriving in the New World brought ingredients that did not exist in Americas, such as tomatoes and various aromatic herbs. Although epazote was already used by native cultures, its combination with European ingredients allowed the creation of sauces and new preparation methods that evolved over time. Pan de cazón, as we know it today, is the result of these fusions. Layers of corn tortillas with cazón, bathed in a rich tomato sauce and perfumed with epazote. The most interesting thing about this dish is that it not only reflects ingredients that compose it, but also the cultural evolution of Campeche. Pan de cazón is a clear example of how two worlds, the indigenous and the European, met and created something new. It's a dish that represents the very history of the region, rich, complex, but always rooted in traditions.
Pan de cazón is not just food. It is a piece of Campeche's history that you can taste. It is proof that gastronomy is a direct reflection of humans' interactions, cultural influences, and adaptation. In Berry Bite, you are tasting centuries of history, from ancient Mayan traditions to the modern evolution of Campeche cuisine.
So whether you are tasting pan de cazón or exploring other traditional dishes like piripollos or chocolomo, what you're really enjoying is a mix of cultures, times, and landscapes. Campeche's cuisine is as diverse as its history, and it's that diversity that makes it so special.
We hope you have enjoyed this tour of Campeche's gastronomy. If you ever have the chance to visit this beautiful region, don't miss the opportunity to try its culinary delight. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your favorite Mexican dish. See you in the next video.